Gretchen, you and I both love Whole Foods Market. I've been trying to be healthier lately, so I love going to Whole Foods and shopping their delicious salads. There are so many. Our parents love Whole Foods Market. They walk there at least 3 times a week, I'd say. There are so many good things to buy, and customers love shopping at Whole Foods Market for big sales like Thanksgiving and Mother's Day, but the fact is there are lots of ways to save on quality items every day.
Absolutely. Whole Foods Market makes it easy to elevate your grocery shopping on a budget. You can check out their weekly sales at wholefoodsmarket.com, which gets refreshed every Wednesday. That way you always know where the savings are. And remember to look for 365 by Whole Foods Market items throughout the store. Their store brand has all the quality that we expect from Whole Foods Market at prices that are terrific. There are so many ways to save at Whole Foods Market. Now you know. You've heard us talk about Great Jones and their stunning high-quality cookware. Well, I have to say, since I got my Saucy, I have found it much more fun to cook. The Saucy is a terrific saucepan with curved sides, a pouring spout. It comes with a lid. It looks gorgeous just sitting there. It makes it easier and more fun to cook. And I realized that that's the exact intention of Great Jones. As a women-run New York-based brand, Great Jones wants to equip and empower people to cook at home and make kitchen our happy place.
So whether you're baking sourdough, cooking scrambled eggs, or looking to transform your kitchen into your happy place at a great price, we can agree that it's time to upgrade from those old rusted hand-me-downs to the bold, beautiful, long-lasting pieces from Great Jones like we did. Get started today at greatjones.com and get an extra 15% off your first order with promo code HAPPIER. That's greatjones.com, promo code HAPPIER.
Hello, it is Gretchen.
And Elizabeth.
We are reporting from the Green Park in London. We have arrived. We're here.
Yay!
Our travels were very easy, and in fact, we very easily found each other in the airport. We were in adjacent terminals, and so we found each other, and we landed within like 10 minutes of each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Gretchen, you were happy because you were going to bring a duffel, and I told you to bring a roller bag, and that made your life much easier. It is a large airport.
Yes, and so that is a hack that I have decided on, which is always use a roller bag because these days airports are so big. And also, when you're walking through an airport, don't be dreamy, because at a couple points I almost missed a turnoff because everything was marked very well, but I was just sort of people watching, and I might have missed some signage.
So we are here. We got to our hotel. We're going to walk by Buckingham Palace.
Yeah. We spotted some corgi stuffed animals. So
yes.
Elizabeth has got her corgi fix.
But I am looking for a real corgi now.
Yeah.
I want to see a real corgi today.
Excellent.
And we have to mention, Gretchen, this is probably one of the most gorgeous days of the year in London. It is blue skies, 73 degrees.
Yes, the park is jam-packed with people looking so happy.
Yes.
Gorgeous day.
Yay.
Hey, we are in Penrith. We're at the Penrith train station. We just arrived.
Yes, so yesterday after we checked in, we did a lot of sightseeing. We went by Big Ben, Westminster Abbey.
The Churchill statue, one of my favorite sites.
Yes, and I have to say, Gretchen, everyone here is so stylish.
Yes.
I cannot get over it. I feel just like a negative fashion plate here.
We had a lovely outdoor dinner near Trafalgar Square. Penrith looks beautiful, judging from the train station.
Yes.
So far, we've had amazing weather. Let's just hope that it holds once our trip actually begins, which is tomorrow.
Yes, at 10 a.m., we are going to meet the rest of our group and start. We're going to come dressed to walk.
We're going to be ready. Hey there, we're up at the top of Hadrian's Wall.
Yes, day one of our trip. We've met our group. We've had lunch together. And true to English weather, we're already wearing our rain pants.
Yes, but we've seen beautiful wildflowers. We've seen sheep galore. What else?
It's a very old wall, 2,500-year-old wall.
It is really extraordinary to think that this wall has been here that long. And just looking at the beautiful countryside, it's gorgeous.
Yes.
Okay, day one.
In the bag, we are done with day one. We've had dinner. We had something you and I have never had, twice baked cheese souffle.
Which was amazing.
Couldn't say no to that.
We spent a lot of time on Hadrian's Wall. It's extraordinary to think parts of it are still there. It was marked the outermost edge of the Roman Empire there for a while. We saw what was left.
Yes, we saw the remains of a fort. Where they had even bathhouses with heated floors.
Yes.
Which is out in the nether world.
Yeah.
Very Game of Thrones.
It was really remind us of Game of Thrones, even the way in the museum they showed kind of a reenactment of what it looked like, and it looked like exactly like Game of Thrones.
Yes. We think George Martin must have taken a day trip to Hadrian's Wall before writing Game of Thrones.
Yeah, well, he's very inspired by all this history.
Yes,
we know that.
as one
there will be more to come, I think. Oh, one thing I always wanted to do is to go over a style, because you read about that all the time, but I had never actually gone over.
Well, explain what it is.
It's like a way to go over a fence. Ours apparently was a very grand style. It was like a proper ladder that you climbed up and climbed down. I guess sometimes they're more like toe holds.
And it was over a stone wall.
Over a stone wall. Not Hadrian's Wall, but a very sturdy-looking stone wall.
And then they also have things called kissing gates.
Very clever.
Where it's so pedestrians can get into a footpath, but sheep cannot get out.
Yes.
So you kind of go in, and
it kind of
it's hard
swings,
to describe.
It sort of swings behind you. You go through one at a time. And we saw a dog do it.
Yes.
He went back and forth. Getting a big kick out of it.
Yes.
But I do feel like a highlight is the style. You read about it all the time, and I just never quite could picture it. It's like one of these things that appears in literature, but then you never really encounter. I never encountered it as a child in Kansas City, I will say, or on the streets of New York City.
But we climbed a lot of stone steps.
Yes.
I mean, it was very steep.
It was very
I'm going to be
steep.
very sore tomorrow.
Yes. We have a great guide who is
Jeremy.
Jeremy, who's leading us, and just like full of information and stories, and that's great. And we have a great group. It's going to be exciting tomorrow. Day 2. More to come. The end of day 2, though, it feels like we've had so many adventures. I can't believe we're just on our second day.
I know, and it feels like we've known the group forever.
Yeah. Today we went to Bamburgh Castle, which was gorgeous, and we also went to the Holy Island, which was interesting because it's only accessible during low tide. So you have to really time your entrance and, even more importantly, your exit to make sure that you can leave.
Yes, I've heard about this, but I did not know it's a real thing where there's what's called a causeway that you can drive, but it's only there during low tide.
Yes.
The road is covered during high tide, and we saw boats during low tide that were just on sand.
Yeah.
And now understand the phrase, a high tide raises all boats.
A rising tide raises all boats. Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay.
One thing that's been a big relief is beforehand, Elizabeth was going back and forth whether she needed 9 or 9.5 hiking boots. I think, how many times did you change your mind and actually return them and trade them in?
A good 4 times.
Yes. But whatever they are, they're fine.
Yes.
So I don't even know where you ended up
9.5.
Yeah, because so many listeners said, on the side of bigger.
Yes. So I took that advice. I got the 9.5s, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
We have no official blisters yet.
No, we're fine. We're fine. We got a good hack from our guide, Jeremy, who he was taking a group selfie, and I noticed that he made the what do you call it, the shutter click or whatever by just hitting the down volume button on the side instead of the photo button. I had learned this a long time ago and forgotten it. This is amazing because it's so much easier to take a photograph from the side than from the button in the middle. So this is a huge revelation to the two of us.
Yes, somehow we did not know this.
No, and it's so obvious.
Yes.
And it's going to change the way we take photographs.
Yes. And then, Gretchen, we ended the day with having everybody in the group take your 4 tendencies quiz.
Yes, right at the table.
Which did come up organically. You didn't just force everybody out of nowhere.
Yes.
We were talking and the 4 tendencies came up. And then you said, well, there's a quiz. And then we said, well, why doesn't everyone just take it right now? And it was a great
Elizabeth,
group
the good
activity.
sister, who's like, why, you can all take it right now. Let's do it right now. Yeah, so tomorrow we're going to discuss.
Yes.
And we've got a long hike tomorrow. It'll be fun.
Yes, long hike.
Okay. Let's hope that we keep up our no blister streak. Mm-hmm. Hello, it is day 3 of our hiking trip in partnership with Wilderness England. We are having so much fun.
Yes, so today we had a big hiking day.
It was the biggest hiking day yet.
Yes, and I think we did about 7 miles, and it started with something called Humbleton Hill. And I must say, Gretchen, I was humbled. I had a hard time getting up the hill.
It was very steep.
And as many listeners know, I've said before that no matter what group I'm in, I'm always the worst in the group and in the worst shape. And yet again, I was the one huffing and puffing up the hill. But that is okay. Nobody cared.
But our amazing guide, Jeremy, was like, this is a vacation.
Yes.
This is fun. There's no race. Take your time. And you took your time and you got to the... I mean, I was just one step ahead of you. So, yes, it was hard. But then it was gorgeous views.
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
And we had really good weather. So that was nice. We had great visibility and we didn't have to deal with rain.
Yeah. So we're in, rolling hill country.
Yes, right. Well, so ever since I read The Secret Garden, which of course I've read like 30 times, I have wanted so much to see moors, and I've wanted to see like heather growing on the moors. And now I have. I don't think we're in exactly where the Secret Garden, we're not exactly where the Secret Garden was, but I got some moors and I got some heather. So and we got beautiful views of that.
Yes, and then we had our first picnic lunch.
Delightful.
With sandwiches from a shop and crisps. Jeremy...
Wait, what do they call sheet cake? Flat cake?
Pancake.
Tray cake.
Tray cake.
Yes,
and tray
which is
cake.
sheet cake.
And then Jeremy, our wonderful guide, surprised us all.
At the summit. So there's nothing to be seen for 1,000. We couldn't even see cars.
Yes, he said, would anybody care for tea or coffee or hot chocolate if I could produce it?
Yes.
And of course, everybody said yes.
Yes.
And so you and I had coffee, which really just was a cherry on top of the picnic lunch.
Well, partly whenever we're together, we drink tremendous amounts of coffee, and it was just so unexpected. It really was like a magician like pulling a rabbit out of a hat. It was like in a proper coffee like to-go cup. It was very funny. But then later, so we stopped in Wooler also on our way back for more hot drinks.
Town.
Yeah, beautiful town. So the one thing I've learned about myself is I love nothing more than a stone wall with moss on it and then like plants, flowers, grasses growing on top. I just can't get enough of that, and I see a lot of it.
Yes, so our goal is to take a series of photos of you in the next several days
gallery.
By that kind of wall.
Yes.
And I think we will have many, many opportunities.
Yeah. So, Lisa, you have a couple hacks that you've picked up.
Yes. So one is I've been using a walking stick.
We borrowed those.
Borrowed a walking stick, and I love it. You weren't as into it.
I found it distracting. Like, I never knew exactly how to use it or what to do with it. If I wasn't using it, I was afraid I was going to poke somebody eye out. So I felt like it wasn't as useful as it was unuseful to me.
Okay,
But
I love it. I want to get my own.
Yeah?
I love the walking poles.
Okay.
And then the other thing is, so many listeners wrote in before our trip to tell us about toe socks.
Yeah.
Both regular toe socks and then also toe sock liners, which you wear under a hiking sock. And I did that today because I knew we were going to have this huge hike. And I, of course, I'm worried about blisters.
Yeah.
And I did that, and it worked perfectly, and I have no blisters.
Yeah.
Now, you didn't do it, and I think
didn't.
you also don't have blisters.
But what we did do, which was what one of the guides had suggested, was the foot balm, which we both put on our feet.
Yes.
So I think that helps too.
Yes.
I mean, you never know when you have not gotten a blister anyway, but who wants to find out?
Yes. Oh, and then we should mention another hack. Morgana, one of the women we are traveling with, recently did the Camino in Spain, and she learned there that you wool from a sheep. Of course, there's many, many sheep, and there's wool all over the place.
Right.
Wool in your sock, between your foot and your shoe can really help with blisters. Now, she did point out that if you have any kind of open wound, you want to make sure it's cleaned wool.
Right, which I guess there you could buy it. Cleaned properly.
Yes, but you said you picked it up and did this.
Well, Jeremy had described this, so I just picked up, I felt a hot spot where my ankle bone hit the top of my boot. And so I was just like, well, let's try it. And it did help. It really worked. I guess it's the lanolin in the wool, and just something maybe between my bone and the thing. Anyway, so that was interesting. And speaking of what listeners suggested, several listeners suggested David Nichols' novel You're Here, because he's a great writer, and it's about two people who are doing the coast to coast walk. And so I'm reading it right now, and I found it literally laugh out loud. It's rare that you truly do chuckle to yourself, and I did. And
it's the definition of a delightful novel.
Yeah. Right now they're marching in the rain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So dinner soon, and then I think we will sleep very well tonight.
Yes. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device that measures your metabolism through your breath. And on the app, it lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs and gives you tailored guidance to improve your nutrition, workout, sleep, and even stress management.
I've been using Lumen, and it is super easy to use and very interesting to get your results. All you have to do is breathe into your Lumen first thing in the morning, and you'll know what's going on with your metabolism, whether you're burning mostly fats or carbs. Then you get a personalized nutrition plan for that day based on your measurements. You can also breathe into it before and after workouts and meals, so you can know exactly what's going on. So if you want to take the next step in improving your health, go to lumen.me/happier to get 15% off your Lumen. That's LUMEN.me/happier for 15% off your purchase. Thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring this episode. I am so excited to tell you about one of my favorite podcasts, Ask Rana with Rana and Brian. Ask Rana is at its core an advice show, but really it's so much more. Rana Glickman and Brian Safi answer questions from real listeners with the help of a little shtetl clairvoyance, impeccable taste, and their A-list guests, including Conan O'Brien, Patton Oswalt, Margaret Cho, Jesse Teller Ferguson, and more. They don't have any formal credentials, but that doesn't mean they aren't right most of the time. I recently had the pleasure of joining Rana and Brian in their podcast, where we gave advice on an exhausting colleague and ending a 25-year relationship. This episode and more are available wherever you get your podcasts. And if, like me, you can't get enough of Rana and Brian, you could join them on their Patreon for a more intimate experience, special bonus episodes, a monthly newsletter, and more. Or sign up for their curated cocktail club, the Ask Rana Social Club. Check out these offerings and more by the link tree on their Instagram. Ask Rana isn't just a podcast, it's a way of life. All right, we're reporting in.
Yes.
Whew, great day. But Elizabeth, I thought people are interested in what is it like for you to do this as a type 1 diabetic?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I definitely had that on my mind because it's a lot of physical activity, and that can make my blood sugar go down.
And just to remind people, with type 1, over time, it's bad to have high blood sugar, but in the short term, what's really dangerous is to go low. That's the dangerous thing that you really, really need to avoid.
Yes, and when you go low, that means you need sugar. When you're high, you need insulin.
Right. So if somebody is like having problems as a diabetic, they need sugar.
Yes.
Which I think is the opposite of what a lot of people think.
Yes. So anyway, what I decided, and I talked to my doctor about this, is I kind of purposely kept my blood sugar, or have been keeping my blood sugar higher than I normally would.
Just in everyday
life. In everyday life, so that when we're hiking, I have more room to go down. So for instance, yesterday we were hiking and I noticed like my blood sugar went down 150 points during the hike.
We'll put that in context.
Well, normally... It's hard to put it in context because everything's different.
Yeah, sure.
That's a lot. Let me just say that's a lot. Yeah. So because I started high, I was still okay. But had I started at normal and gone down 150, I would have been extremely low.
And explain also how you're checking this throughout the day.
Yeah, so the good thing is I have my wireless glucose monitor, which is attached to an app on my phone. And I have my phone around my neck, of course, on our bandolier.
Yes, we wear our phones around our necks.
At all times.
Fashion divas that we are.
So often as we're hiking, I just pick up my phone and check.
Right.
And it still works, luckily, out in the country.
But and then if it really did hit a point, it would buzz to...
if I forgot to check and it got
really
low.
started to get low.
Yeah.
Well, also, I carry Starburst in my pockets because Starburst, individually wrapped Starburst, you have found... They're individually wrapped, so they stay nice. They're light, and they dissolve very fast in your mouth. So if you really are needing that quick sugar... So I have some in my pocket so that if you're sort of getting disoriented because your blood sugar is low.
Yeah, and I, of course, keep a lot of snacks in my backpack. I have like bars, chocolate, Starburst. Yeah, so we've got it covered, but definitely it's something you have to be aware of. But for anyone out there wanting to do this, you can do it. You just have to be aware.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like it's not that time consuming or distracting. It's just like something that you have
I
to
don't
think
think
about.
anyone else on the trip would
thought
know.
more. I think you thought more about blisters, probably.
Yes,
like
for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so it's fun.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, it's day 4. We are in the Lake District. In fact, there is a lake right next to, well, it's more like a stream because it's running. I don't know if it can be heard, but it's beautiful and we hear it rippling over the rocks.
Yes. The Lake District, although English people call it the Lakes or Lakeland, not the Lake District.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's so green. Yes, lots of stone walls with moss and flowers and grasses growing out of them, which is my new favorite thing.
So today was very exciting. We started at Annick Garden, and within Annick Garden, we went to the Poison Garden, which was an actual garden full of poisonous plants and flowers.
It's very highly controlled. It's completely fenced, and some of the plants are in cages, and a few of the plants are so dangerous that they're actually in cases. So no one could even stick their finger in because they're completely sealed off.
Yes, and you could only go through with a guide.
Yeah, who kept a careful eye on us, who was a great guide. But it was funny because, Elizabeth, you and Sarah, when you're writing various plots, you've tried to do more research on this.
Yes, because we're always looking for good kinds of poison, and it is not always easy to do research. In fact, when I've tried to ask any AI questions, they tell me to
mind your own business.
Exactly. This is not information you need. So it was really interesting to hear about ricin and...
Well, we used to have yew trees growing in our backyard.
Yes.
Yeah, but he said the most dangerous one is tobacco. It's the tobacco plant.
Kills the most
They had the tobacco plant. But then we went to the actual castle, which was just... Exactly, if you think of a castle, this is the castle you think of.
Yes, and in fact, part of Harry Potter was filmed there.
Yep.
The scene where they teach Harry how to fly, on a broom for Quidditch.
Yep.
Was filmed there when he catches the snitch.
Or he's looking for the Remembrall, I think.
Oh.
Or I think Draco takes the Remembrall and Harry's chasing him to try to get it back.
And then also interestingly, parts of Downton Abbey were filmed at the interior of this castle.
Which was extremely grand.
If anyone remembers when Edith had her home with her husband, it was very grand. And at the Christmas special, they went to visit her. That was filmed at this castle. And what's interesting is the family actually lives there during the winter. They remove all of the displays and they actually live there. And they said they have dogs running around these incredibly grand rooms. I was just loving to picture dogs tearing through there.
Yeah, right. But we forgot to mention some other highlights of the garden. The bamboo maze was beautiful. They had these big porch swings up on a hill overlooking a pond, and that was just like a super relaxing, lovely thing to do. Oh, and we could get coffee and walk around. And Elizabeth, I think if we had to pick our favorite thing to do together, it's to get coffee and walk.
Yes. In fact, Gretchen, I'm holding a cup of coffee at this moment.
Yeah, and I got one sitting on a table behind us. All right. Well, not even a table, a slab of rock that we use to get down to this this body of running water.
So more from the Royal Oak Inn in Borrowdale?
No, where was? Well, we
just got here. We'll report on the name.
Yeah, we're
tomorrow.
in the Lake District. Yeah, so we're in partnership with Wilderness England, and we feel like we are seeing so much beautiful England.
It's amazing.
Okay, we're out. We've been hiking all morning. Elizabeth's up ahead of me. We've gone quite high up. You might be able to hear the sound of a waterfall in the distance. Yeah, it's rocky. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous day. I mean, sunny. The temperature is beautiful. We're surrounded by alpine flowers. And we're almost where we're going to have lunch. Elizabeth is continuing to climb. She doesn't want to stop to talk. Okay, it's day 5, and we are outside a celebration of all things Slate. There's a Slate gift shop, a Slate tour.
Well, it is a working slate mine.
I think it's the last working slate mine. Anyway, I realize I love slate.
In England.
In England. I realize I love slate.
Me too.
I had never really thought much about slate. But we are at the end of a gorgeous and also challenging day of hiking.
Yes. I definitely had a rough time.
But you found out that, like, if you take a break, you rebound very quickly.
Yes, I just need to get my breath.
Yes, so stop often, and then you can have the stamina. Oh,
yes.
Sounds like, there's a motorcycle going by.
We also have had some typhoons going overhead.
Yeah, which is a kind of fighter jet?
Yeah, I believe so. They do...
they're doing maneuvers, drills, typhoons. That was surprising.
And loud.
Yeah.
But I had another insight, Gretchen.
Yeah.
So when it came to lunch, there was a special place we were going to, the spots that our guide had found. But it was up a very steep hill. Yeah. And I sort of questioned him about, well, what if I don't go and stuff. Anyway, and then he ended up deciding, you know what? Why don't you stop here? Which was a spectacular. Which was an amazing.
It was the most beautiful place I've ever eaten in my entire life. Yeah.
Yes, but I felt very bad. Like, oh my God, I didn't make it to the special spot. I'm so lame. And another woman who was with us, Marilyn, she decided to stop as well. And she was like, I don't feel bad. I need a break.
Yeah.
And I realized the sort of why Marilyn didn't feel bad and I did is because Marilyn's very confident in her physical ability. Right. She's a long distance runner. Yeah. She has been all over the world hiking.
She's
and
been to
biking
the Lake District like 20 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas I have felt insecure about my physical ability since, third grade. So I think that's why I sort of was beating myself up about it, whereas she was like, yeah, no big deal.
Right.
So I don't know what I make of that.
What is the lesson of that?
I'm not sure yet, but I do feel there's a lesson. So I've got to ponder that.
Yeah, something to ponder.
Feels like profound in some way.
Yeah. Okay, we're here at the Stone Circle, which is...
I believe we're at Castle Ridge. It says we're on Castle Lane.
Yeah, but...
outside of Keswick.
Yes, it's a Neolithic stone circle. It's in the middle of a field with extraordinary views.
And I'm realizing, there's quite a few people here, tourists, and I'm realizing one of the nicest things about our trip is we've had so much time in nature with just our group and not a lot of other people. And I didn't even know that was something that I would particularly enjoy.
Right.
But I really have liked just being away from people.
Right. Well, and yet you're not alone.
Yet you're with people.
Which can be, if you're out in nature, you might be worried, what if I break my leg or what if I get lost? So we're with a group, but there's very few of us. Yeah.
It's just been very, I don't know.
Quiet.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, no, and you feel like it. Wow. We did a lot of climbing today. Our legs are tired. Even walking around the stone circle, it's feels good.
We did Cat Bells Mountain. Which is, I guess, one of the most popular places in the Lake District.
Yes, and apparently a starter place for many British children to climb.
Yes, and it was particularly gorgeous.
We keep saying that.
I know, every day it gets
I know, I feel
gorgeous.
I feel like I'm not believable anymore.
Hey, it's Liz, day 7 of our trip, last day of hiking, and I'm wearing a tank top for the first time because it's so pretty out. Gorgeous waterfalls. Gretchen says from behind us we're seeing waterfalls. We're at another lake, I think it's called Ellsworth. And we're just enjoying every second. We've bonded with the group, so it's going to be really sad to say goodbye. We will report more later. Whenever I'm gearing up for my next trip, deciding what to pack is always so stressful. The clothes I have either don't fit or worn out or just don't match. But then I discovered Quint. It's my go-to for high-quality vacation essentials I'll be packing for trips to come. Gretchen, I'm always looking for the perfect t-shirt.
Yeah.
I am so into right now Quint's organic cotton slub crew neck tees. I got black and white to take on our trip to England. They are the perfect tee.
The best part, all Quint items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quint cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. Pack your bags with high-quality essentials from Quint. Go to quince.com/Gretchen for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Gretchen to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Gretchen.
This show is sponsored by MIDI Health. There are great things that come with age, wisdom, experience, a love of gardening and holiday decorations, to name just a few. But if you're a woman over 40, it can also bring some less desirable things. Hot flashes, insomnia, brain fog, moodiness, and weight gain. All symptoms of menopause and perimenopause. I have friends of all ages, and I have been hearing about these symptoms for years.
Yes, hormonal transition is a fact of life, but that doesn't mean you have to accept its symptoms as just another part of aging. MIDI clinicians are menopause experts equipped to support you with safe, effective, FDA-approved medications, as well as lifestyle coaching and preventative health guidance. All their services are covered by insurance, and they're conveniently accessible through telehealth visits and 24/7 messaging. You deserve to feel great. Book your virtual visit today at joinmidi.com. That's joinmidi.com. One thing that can be really frustrating as a parent is you see your child struggling with a specific subject. They need help with their homework, or maybe they're asking questions on their homework that, you as a parent do not feel equipped to answer. IXL Learning is an online learning program for kids. It covers math, language arts, science, and social studies. IXL is designed to help them really understand and master topics in a fun way with positive feedback. I remember how much Eleanor struggled with math, and I was not able to help her, and having IXL would have really, really benefited her.
If your child is struggling, this is the smartest investment you can make. IXL is used in 95 of the top 100 school districts in the U.S. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. And Happier listeners can get an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/happier. Visit IXL.com/happier to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price.
Okay, it's our last day. We are at the summit, the final summit. Where are we? Jeremy, where are we?
Bamburgh.
On the summit of Bamburgh, and it's actually spectacularly gorgeous with rolling hills and lakes. So what have we learned today? One thing is slow and steady.
Yes, steady is smooth and smooth is fast,
Yes.
as they say in the military.
Yes, that's what somebody told me is a proverb of the profession. Here's my hack. If you're dressing in layers, as everybody says you should and works very well, every night be sure you empty out all your pockets, because you will leave your gloves in the pocket of some random fleece.
Yes.
And then you'll be like, where are my gloves? And you'll
My lip balm.
Yeah, or whatever. And so before I take anything out, now I'm like, empty out the pockets. And they also have inside pockets and outside pockets. Lots of or zip pockets, pants pockets, all kinds of pockets.
Yes. To that end, I would say bring multiple of some things. Like I wish I'd brought more than one lip sunscreen balm.
But my sunscreen balm had a terrible taste.
Oh, mine
So
did
that,
not.
okay, so anyway, that's an important thing. All right, great day. Hello from London. We took the train from Penrith this morning, and we have spent the afternoon walking around. We have an absolutely gorgeous day for walking around London.
Yes, we got so lucky with the
Oh
weather
my God,
this whole
just like
trip.
knock on wood, yes.
The funny thing is we spent a lot of the train ride looking up more,
More trips.
walking trips in
Yes.
London.
Yes, right.
I'm on the Wilderness England
Yeah.
website. We
What-
want to do it again.
Yeah, we want to do it again. And we were thinking about our gear, and really we used everything except our gaiters.
Yes, although we both agreed that had it rained more,
Yes.
we would have used our gaiters, so it wasn't as if we shouldn't have
Right,
bought them
yes.
or brought them.
Yes,
It
We
just
just
we didn't happen to need them.
we lucked out.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, we walked around all afternoon, and we've ended up exactly where we started
Yes.
this adventure in London, which is in the Green Park. Again, it is full of people enjoying a beautiful day. And so, listen, looking back now, what would you say surprised you most?
Well, I think what surprised me is just how in the moment I was. So
Yeah.
I thought, I imagined us having long conversations about like your book that you're working
Yeah.
on, your open door book,
Yeah.
or about our 10th anniversary
Yes.
coming up of the
Right.
podcast.
Right. Yes.
How we want to mix it up, what
Yeah.
we want to do to celebrate.
Yes, right.
And instead, we were just like living.
Yeah, in
And
the
just
moment.
In the moment, and
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking about
No.
anything else.
No, it was just looking.
Talking,
talking to the
learning
group.
from our guide.
Yeah.
Like it was just so. We were so present.
Yes, exactly. Which is probably why it felt so refreshing. We were just
Yes.
completely out of
Out of our normal life.
concerns. Yeah, and thoughts.
Now, what about you? What surprised you?
I think what surprised me is how quickly I felt like I got into the routine of it, and like it just felt very familiar, like how to figure out what to wear and packing my pack. Like here's one thing I
Yes.
learned is like don't pack the night before, because then I'm so neurotic. Then the next day I have to unpack everything to make sure I put in everything that I want to bring. So I'm like put it outside the pack, and so then in the morning I'm like, okay, do I have my sun gloves? Yes, because I just put them in a pack 10 minutes ago, not last night. So, but I feel like I very quickly got into the swing of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it seemed like the most normal thing in the world to be packing your day pack
Yeah.
and putting on your sun gloves.
Right. Well, and speaking of packing, Elizabeth,
Oh.
I think it's time to head back. We both need to repack our bags.
Yes, entirely.
Yes, to get everything to fit.
Yes.
Because it's almost time to go home.
Yes.
And you know what?
Bye, England.
I've been thinking about, I'm always thinking how good it feels to put my head back down on my own pillow. And you always think about that first cup of coffee
Yes, the next morning.
the next morning.
So we will enjoy that.
We will enjoy that. Okay, now we're back at home, back in our home offices. I'm back in New York City.
Yes, and I'm back in Encino. And Gretchen, I miss our trip. I miss all the people, the places. It was so fantastic.
Yeah, and how's the jet lag coming along?
Getting better, Gretchen, getting better. But wow, I really got hit. It was a 9-hour time difference for me.
Yeah. Well, we hope you enjoy this unusual episode, these voice memos from the trail. We certainly had a very fun time recording them. So, Elizabeth, are you feeling more happier?
Yes, I am feeling more happier. This big sisterly adventure made both of us happier.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you to Chuck. Also, thank you to Wilderness England. Get in touch. Gretchen's on Threads, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram at Gretchen Rubin, and I'm on Threads and Instagram at Liz Craft. Our email address is podcast@GretchenRubin.com. And for everything related to this episode, links, photos, and more, go to happiercast.com. Bye, Gretch.
Bye, Elizabeth. The best time to start a happiness project is 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Elizabeth, making those voice memos was so fun. I think that we should do this. I want to do this for every trip, and even just to use as a family as kind of an audio diary.
Yes. Well, and also, Gretchen, we took a lot of videos for Mom and Dad, which they loved, which is kind of another diary. Yes. But yes, for sure, every time you and I do a thing, we need to do this audio diary. I wish we'd had this when we were touring.
Oh, yeah, for the podcast tour. That would have been really fun. It would have, and it just brings back everything with such immediacy.
Yes.
From the Onward Project. Homes.com knows that when it comes to home shopping, it's never just about the house or condo. It's about the home. And what makes a home is more than just the house or property. It's the location and neighborhood. If you have kids, it's also schools, nearby parks, and transportation options. That's why Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth information they need to find the right home. And when I say in-depth, I'm talking deep.
Each listing features comprehensive information about the neighborhood, complete with a video guide. They also have details about local schools with test scores, state rankings, and student-to-teacher ratio. They even have an agent directory with the sales history of each agent. So when it comes to finding a home, not just a house, this is everything you need to know all in one place. Homes.com. We've done your homework.